Hello, my name is Jeff, and today I would like to show you how to add your SSH keys to your GitHub account from Windows 10 using the CMD app, so the command application or command prompt application. I was trying to do this earlier today, and I found that on GitHub's documentation they don't really explain it. They show you how to do it with git bash, but not on just the straight up command prompt application. And while it's not the trickiest thing to do, I figured that other people might also be struggling with it and they might just give up and assume it's not possible. And I wanted to share the steps that I found that worked for me with those people to help them out, in case there are other people out there that would like to configure our SSH keys directly from the command application in Windows 10. A couple disclaimers. This might not be the most efficient way to do it. This might not be the best way or the most secure way. This is just the way that I found that worked for me. If you do find a better way, make a video, post it on Stack Overflow, what have you. Secondly, I'm not responsible for any damage you do to your computer. Make these changes at your own risk. Watch this video and apply these changes at your own risk. This is what worked for me. I took this risk with my machine. I'm not a professional by any means, but I would just like to share this knowledge openly with the public without any risk. So I accept no liability for what you do. That being said, let's go ahead and get started. So I kind of typed up some steps here, and it's not super intimidating. It's not a very difficult process, despite how complicated it might look already. And I just did it in this text editor just because I didn't want to compromise my own security by using showing you the entire process with the command application. I didn't want to show my actual email or my my SSH keys. So I just typed up some steps, and I think I can explain them verbally to you, and hopefully you can follow along. So step one, you're going to want to open the command application using elevated privileges. That just means admin/administrator, right click, say run as administrator, say yes. From there, you're going to want to type SSH from the command line command, and you should see some output like this here. If you do have SSH installed. If you do not have it installed, then you're going to want to install it. It seems that Windows comes with this software installed already. So you shouldn't have any issue with it, but yeah, SSH is definitely a prerequisite to getting SSH keys working on your GitHub account from the command prompt application. So once you verify that SSH is installed, so i.e., you get some kind of output like this or some kind of output after typing SSH that indicates you have the software installed, you're going to want to type this command here. So this just generates an SSH key, and that second part there is just your GitHub email address. And just put it in there without quotes. You don't actually have to put the quotes in there. It's just a variable. So make sure you use your GitHub email address and type this command. Once you do that, you're going to be prompted to enter a file in which to save the key. And this is step 3 down here. And all of this information in step 3 was taken directly from GitHub's documentation. So you can go and you can read it there. It's much more readable, but I just wanted to include it to be thorough because these steps are required for this process. So when you're prompted to enter a file, you can just press enter. It'll save it in the default location, or type your own location if you prefer. Just know that if you do use a custom location, you're going to need to save. You're going to need to remember that location and use it throughout the rest of this guide in any place that that file location is referenced. At the next prompt, you're going to want to type a passphrase. GitHub and I do recommend that you use a passphrase. You don't just use the default passphrase and press enter twice. So enter the same passphrase 2 times here, followed by the enter key. And now, before you add a new SSH key to the SSH agent later on to manage your keys, you really should check and make sure that you don't already have an SSH key already generated. So you can check this path here. This is the default location for your SSH keys on Windows as far as I can tell. This is where it was for me. If you threw them somewhere else, you're going to need to look there. But yeah, you can check this path here, and you can examine the files in there and see if you already have an SSH key linked up with your GitHub account. And you should be able to verify this pretty easily by going to your GitHub account, going into settings, and clicking on SSH and GPG keys, and examining those keys and making sure that there's not already one active on your local system. Or maybe there's an old key that was generated and you just want to get rid of it because you don't need it anymore to save space or whatever. You can view all these keys in this default directory, or whatever directory you've been saving your keys in. If you haven't done this before, then I believe this directory will be empty, unless an RSA key or an SSH key was generated for some other third-party application and saved there. Anyways, that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to show you how to do this on Windows and the command prompt specifically. So you can read more about this with this link up here that I've provided. The process of checking your, if you already have SSH keys generated is going to be the same no matter what operating system you're on. So you should be able to figure it out from here. But it is recommended that you go ahead and check that just to make sure. Once you've done that, you're going to want to ensure that the SSH-agent service is running. So from the command application, the command prompt. So you can view this resource, which is what I found on this. But if you try just running SSH-agent from the command prompt application, so you type it, you press enter, you should get an error. I believe this is default functionality on Windows 10. But you can fix this fairly easily, and you can read this guide here on how to fix it. But in short, you're going to want to enter the Services app on Windows. So press the Windows key, search for Services, and click on it. You might need to enter that as admin, but I'm not sure. I don't think it's necessary. Once you're in the Services app, look for the following service: Open SSH Authentication Agent Properties for your local computer, or some other similar name. Maybe you're on a different operating system than me, and or maybe this changes later. But you're going to want to look for the Open SSH Authentication Agent. You're going to want to go to the Properties, so right-click that service, select Properties, and then you're going to want to change the startup type to normal. You'll see in there once you enter Properties that there's an option to change the startup type. By default, for me, it was disabled. I recommend you switch it to manual, as this link up here suggests. Then you just click Apply and OK. Exit the Services app. From here, return to the command prompt application. Type the following and press Enter. So SSH agent. You should get no output after this. And if you do get no output or message, then it means your SSH agent was successfully started. So from here, you're going to want to link your SSH private key to the SSH agent. There really should be a hyphen there. And then you should proceed with the standard GitHub procedure. So how you do that is, first note, like if you did choose a custom name for your SSH key, which I recommend you just use the default. But if you did use a custom name, you're going to want to reference that custom name right here and that custom path, potentially. But for the default location and the default name, this would be the general form of the command. So SSH-add, and then your drive letter name. So this is just going to be your default drive on your Windows computer. So for me, it would be C followed by colon. Maybe it's D for you, or E, or some other drive name. Backslash users, backslash your username. This is going to be custom to your account username that you're currently working with on your workspace. Backslash .ssh, and then the file name here. This is a little bit different than the recommendation by GitHub on the GitHub documentation, but we are doing this from the Windows command prompt, so it should be a little bit different. But yeah, you can read that article as well if you want more information on this. Yeah, so once you've done that, then you're basically home free, and you're all set, and you're pretty much done. just check out this link here. This is just the official GitHub documentation. This will show you how to copy the contents of your SSH key, in particular your public file, and link it to your GitHub account. It's very simple. It's maybe 2-3 steps, but this is basically the same as it would be on any operating system. So I'm not going to show that or talk about that in this video. The main point of this video was just to show you how to do this on Windows using the command prompt application in particular. Down here I have some resources for you in case it's useful. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope this helps somebody. I understand maybe this wasn't the most efficient, but I wanted to be very thorough, and I explained, how I arrived here. I figured it would be useful to somebody, and maybe somebody will create a nice blog post or web-based tutorial regarding this. I just wanted to give you guys a quick tutorial. I realize this video is getting long, but again, thank you for watching. I really hope this helps. Feel free to put any questions, comments in the comments section. If you do have any questions, I'll try to monitor that and get back to you. I'm not going to make any promises as the years go on, but I will definitely monitor that for the short term and get to your questions. And I hope you guys have a great discussion in the comments about this. And maybe you can show me a better way of doing this, or make some suggestions. Happy to hear them. Anyways, that's all. Thank you for listening. Hope this helps. Bye bye.